Hello everyone, welcome to another Stinger review. Today I will be talking about one of the best RPGs ever made, and that is Baldur's Gate 2. But before I start talking about it, I would like to mention that I also created 2 Stinger reviews about Baldur's Gate 1 and its expansion Siege of Dragonspear. So you should definitely check those ones out, because I truly believe that's where your journey should start if you decide to play Baldur's Gate games. The main story of Baldur's Gate 2 is much more interesting than the main story of Baldur's Gate 1. It's mysterious and it has a couple of wow, really moments. It grabs you and drags you wherever it wants. You no longer have the freedom of movement all the time. I personally think it's much better this way because your important quests can be interrupted by unrelated side quests. Side stories and missions are also really good. It's just extremely overwhelming, especially in Chapter 2, when you can't make a few steps without someone starting a conversation with you and giving you a new quest. It took me around 70 hours just to finish all side quests in Chapter 2. 70 hours without doing main missions. That's crazy. It seems like the creators of Baldur's Gate 2 didn't realize that the new structure of the main story won't go well together with too many unrelated side quests. After so many hours of no main story progressed, you really get detached from the important problems. The journal with quests is still very chaotic, as it was in the first game. You still can't hide finished quests, so it gets very messy and it's very easy to overlook or forget something. There are quite many companion options in the game that I believe everyone will be able to put together a team they will enjoy working with. I found it a bit annoying that when I finally found a full team of companions I really liked and wanted to use until the end of the game would still try to force new companions on my team. You don't have to accept them, but you might be unable to follow some quests then, and it feels like you might be missing out on some fun times if you refuse to do it. Then there is the decisions of who of my favorite companions do I want to temporarily get rid of? Who of them will be not getting the XP from those quests and leveling up slower than the rest of my group? It can also happen that they will get angry that you removed them and you will never see them again. You might also lose some companions as part of their personal missions. I ran into a problem with that when my companion Nalia wouldn't come back to me after being taken away, and I wasn't able to figure out how to get her back until I looked it up and realized that it was a glitch. There was supposed to be a man approaching me with instructions after she was taken away, but he got stuck on the roof and never reached me. I searched the roofs, found him and was able to get Nalia back. But I met some players who never found out what really happened to her and just kept playing the game not knowing it was a bug. Baldur's Gate 2 has a very annoying and frequent problem with companions getting stuck in each other at narrow places. This problem already appeared in the first game and unfortunately they didn't learn and made the second game the same way. It will annoy you while exploring, but what is even worse is that it will kill you or your companions when it happens during combat encounters. I'm glad that they made your companions have more spontaneous conversations together than it was in the first game. The game's voice acting is pretty good, but at the same time inconsistent. I'm not sure if it was intentional or if it's a bug, but many times there would be only parts of conversations voiced and the rest I had to read myself. I don't mind having some less important encounters completely without voice acting, but starting it and not finishing feels wrong. The game's music is absolutely amazing. Some of the soundtracks are so great that they might even give you goosebumps. There are quite many options when it comes to difficulty in Baldur's Gate 2. If you're a gamer who likes a bit of challenge, I would recommend you to pick Core Rules difficulty on your first playthrough. You can always lower it later if it's more frustrating than enjoyable. If you're not familiar with the game at all, don't go higher than Core Rules. I believe that you can pick basically any class for your main character and any companions you want, and you should be able to finish everything on Core Rules. There were some frustrating hard fights, but I never had to lower the difficulty. If you keep failing a fight, it's usually because you don't know how to counter the problem. Some spells, potions, or change of equipment can make a big difference when you figure out where your problem lies.
Forward!
It is about time.
Fall!
Nature strikes!
Beat the earth!
Oh my god, safe. We are all alive, I can't believe it. Whew. Baldur's Gate 2 runs really well. I didn't experience any frequent crashes, but I recommend saving the game often anyway, both with using quick saves and proper saves, because even after so many years it still has bugs which haven't been fixed, and some of them are game breaking, like when the only doors out didn't unlock for me after a fight, so I was stuck in the dungeons with no way out. Baldur's Gate 2 is a very long game and it's far from simple. The game mechanics are quite complicated, so it takes some learning in order to truly get into it. It's filled with many locations, fights and conversations. Big part of it is inventory management, so you might feel like it's never ending. It's an older game, it requires a lot of your time and also patience. It helps if you're a fan of D&D, but even that doesn't mean that you will like the game. I have friends who enjoy tabletop D&D quite a lot but wouldn't want to play Baldur's Gate 1 or 2. If you played and enjoyed old games in the past and you like slow strategic battles, a lot of exploration and deep stories, you should give Baldur's Gate 2 a try. We got to the end of my Stinger review. I hope you enjoyed the video and that I motivated at least some of you to play Baldur's Gate 2. But as I already mentioned before, I highly recommend playing Baldur's Gate 1 first, because that's where the whole story begins, and Baldur's Gate 1 also has a slower start, so if you're not familiar with D&D rules, as I was not familiar with it when I started playing Baldur's Gate 1, you will have plenty of time to slowly get into it. You can also import your character and some items from Baldur's Gate 1 to Baldur's Gate 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you soon with another Stinger review. Ta-da! Tiddy! Ta-doo! Stingers up!